The birth of Islam and Muhammad's early life. Islam, today the second most practiced religion on earth, emerged in the 7th century from the desert lands of Arabia, which at the time were considered remote and culturally isolated by neighboring empires. Its founder, Muhammad, was born around 570 CE in the bustling city of Mecca, a hub of trade and religious activity. Raised as a merchant, Muhammad was deeply contemplative and socially aware, witnessing the disparities and moral challenges of Meccan society. Around the year 610, he experienced a series of divine revelations in the cave of Hira, where the angel Gabriel conveyed messages that would later form the core of the Quran. These revelations emphasized monotheism, ethical conduct, and social reform, introducing the concept of Islam, or submission to God. Muhammad initially shared his teachings privately among family and close friends. His early followers, later known as the Sahaba, were drawn to his message of moral integrity and spiritual devotion. The Quraysh, his own tribe, resisted his growing influence, resulting in tension and eventual armed conflict. During this period, the notion of jihad took shape, carrying both the spiritual meaning of striving for personal moral excellence and the sanctioned physical struggle in defense of the faith. Despite these challenges, Muhammad's movement grew steadily, and by the time of his death, in 632, much of Arabia had accepted Islam. His closest companion, Abu Bakr, became the first caliph, setting the stage for the expansion of Islam beyond the Arabian Peninsula, transforming the Middle East and laying the foundations for one of the world's most influential religions. The expansion of the early Islamic Empire following Muhammad's death. The Islamic Caliphate, under leaders like Abu Bakr and Umar, initiated a series of military campaigns that reshaped the political landscape of the Middle East. Arab armies targeted the weakened Sasanian Empire and the Eastern Roman Byzantine Empire, which had exhausted themselves through decades of mutual conflict. Cities across the Levant, Syria, Egypt, and Persia fell swiftly to Muslim forces. The population of these conquered regions consisted primarily of Christians, Jews, and Zoroastrians. Rather than imposing forced conversion, the new rulers allowed religious freedom for people of the book, requiring only a tax, while Islam slowly spread through cultural influence and voluntary conversion. During this era, the Quran transitioned from a primarily oral tradition to a written, standardized text under Caliph Uthman, solidifying a religious foundation that continues to the present day. The political landscape, however, was volatile. Uthman's assassination in 656 led to Ali's ascension as caliph and sparked the First Fitna, an early civil war that divided Muslims into Shia followers of Ali and his descendants and Sunni adherents to the traditions of the Prophet and his companions. The Umayyad dynasty eventually seized power, relocating the caliphate to Damascus and expanding Islam's reach into North Africa and the Iberian Peninsula, laying the groundwork for a vast empire stretching from the Atlantic Ocean to modern-day Pakistan. The Abbasid era and the Golden Age of Islam. By the mid-8th century, dissatisfaction with the Umayyads led to the Abbasid Revolution. Claiming lineage from Muhammad's uncle Abbas, the Abbasids overthrew the Umayyads in 750 and systematically eliminated most of the previous dynasty. Though Abdo el-Rahman escaped to Al-Andalus, founding the Emirate of Cordoba, the Abbasid capital, Baghdad, became a remarkable center of learning, trade, and culture. This period, often called Islam's Golden Age, witnessed groundbreaking advancements in mathematics, astronomy, medicine, engineering, and philosophy. Meanwhile, Shi'ism matured into a distinct branch of Islam, with further subdivisions such as Twelver, Ism, and Zaydi Shi'ism, while Sufi movements emerged, emphasizing inner spiritual discipline. Islam's influence spread beyond the Middle East through trade, scholarship, and political control, reaching North Africa, Central Asia, and the Indian Ocean coast. Cities like Timbuktu, Gao, and Kano emerged as hubs of Islamic learning, while Muslim merchants facilitated cultural and religious diffusion throughout South and Southeast Asia. In this era, political and military power often separated from religious authority, as seen with the Seljuk Empire, which controlled Baghdad but allowed caliphs and scholars to oversee religious matters. Conquests, crusades, and the rise of the Ottomans. From the 11th century onward, the Islamic world faced both internal fragmentation and external challenges. The Seljuks consolidated much of the Middle East, while the Byzantine Empire and later European powers initiated crusades, beginning in 1099, to reclaim the Holy Land. Despite initial setbacks, Islamic leaders like Saladin united regional powers, reclaiming Jerusalem in 1187 and demonstrating the resilience of Muslim political and military organization. Meanwhile, Islam continued to expand in Southeast Asia through trade networks, the founding of the Samudera Pasai Sultanate, and the emergence of influential Sufi orders such as the Mevlev, famed for the whirling dervishes. By the 14th century, the Ottoman Empire, founded by Osman I in Anatolia, began an unprecedented period of territorial expansion. Ottoman rule extended into the Balkans, transforming regions culturally and politically, while offering economic incentives and administrative roles that encouraged conversion to Islam. The conquest of Constantinople in 1453 by Sultan Mehmed II marked a critical milestone, establishing the city as Istanbul and the new capital of the Ottoman Empire, symbolizing Islam's dominance in both political and religious spheres. Early modern transformations and colonial encounters. The 15th and 16th centuries witnessed further transformations in the Islamic world. In Southeast Asia, rulers of Malacca and Java adopted Islam as the state religion, facilitating its spread across the region through commerce and diplomacy. In Persia, Shah Ismail I established Twelver Shi'ism as the state religion of the Safavid dynasty, shaping the future religious identity of modern Iran. The Ottomans continued to consolidate power, capturing Egypt and the Hejaz, including Islam's holy cities, establishing themselves as caliphs for 4 centuries. Meanwhile, the Mughal Empire, founded by Babur in India, integrated Islam into a largely Hindu-majority society. However, challenges arose from emerging European powers. Russian forces defeated various khanates. Ottoman naval supremacy was challenged at the Battle of Lepanto, and internal divisions, combined with external pressures, began to limit expansion. During this period, reformist movements such as Wahhabism in Arabia and Salafism elsewhere emerged, emphasizing a return to early Islamic principles and occasionally advocating armed struggle against perceived oppressors. Islam in the modern era and global influence. The 20th century brought profound political upheaval to the Islamic world. The dissolution of the Ottoman Caliphate in 1924 under Kemal Ataturk marked a shift towards secular governance in Turkey. Decolonization created new Muslim-majority nations, including Indonesia, Pakistan, and Bangladesh, while the creation of Israel in 1948 initiated enduring regional tensions. The Iranian Revolution of 1979 established a Shia Islamic Republic, asserting a modern political role for religion. Meanwhile, Muslim communities expanded in Europe and North America, integrating into Western societies while navigating tensions arising from extremist groups and global conflicts, such as the 2001 al-Qaeda attacks in the United States. Despite these challenges, Islam continues to adapt and flourish. Across 1,400 years, it has endured wars, colonialism, and political fragmentation, spreading from Arabia to Africa, Europe, Central and Southeast Asia, uniting diverse peoples, shaping civilizations, and inspiring remarkable achievements in science, culture, and governance. Today, Islam's legacy is reflected in the lives of nearly 2 billion followers worldwide, testifying to its enduring spiritual, cultural, and historical significance.